PWP Nation,
where wrestling discussion lives.
Well, hello there. Dukes, Keith, and Griff here from the Anything But Credible podcast, a.k.a. the ABC Pod. Fellas?
Holla.
Oh, hello. We're here to let you know that you could be possibly missing out on the best podcast ever created, aside from the Offended podcast, of course, and you don't want to be missing that. Now, what makes us the best? Griff? Yeah, great. Keith? Exactly. Look, I'll keep it really simple for you. Crazy people, crazy news, crazy theories, crazy uncredible. That's right. We made that word up. Griff, Keith, say something crazy for me.
Russia wants you to believe in Finland. Real.
Nice. Look, you can find us just about anywhere that you get your podcast, especially Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to hit us up on Facebook at ABC Pod. That's ABC POD. Twitter at _ABC Pod. And Instagram at ABC Podcast. Check in with us for a new episode every Monday and join the conspiracy to commit stupid. We will see you then, and shout out to the Offended Podcast.
Adios. Later, guys. Like you more than a friend.
And we're back. Hockey Talks, presented by Offended, presented by PWP Nation. It's your boy Tricky alongside Stoutsy and Daniel Clodius.
Hello, hockey marks.
We have a good Hockey Talks for you today. Not a lot's going on since the last time we talked to you guys, but there's enough to make an episode. And tonight, when we're recording this will be out on Thursdays, so we're recording this on Wednesday. So it's our celebration. Hockey's back.
Yep, finally.
Hockey's back.
After.
The wait is over. It came quicker this year.
Day after opening night, so Thursday night's going to be a full schedule of hockey.
Episode 2 of our new season of Hockey Talks.
Game 2.
Yeah, this is our game 2. Game 2 of the new season for us here at Offended for Hockey Talks. Before we get into everything, before we get into the interview, we had JCD from PWP Nation on the show to talk about the Rangers' 94 Stanley Cup run. He's from New York. Calls in on Skype from New York, tells us about that, how it was, and how living in that moment and how everything was, and how he mispronounces Shattenkirk a lot.
Yeah.
Shatternick? Is that what he called him?
New Yorkers can't read.
Yeah, no. But he doesn't like him, which, welcome aboard.
No, they got all the papers flying around them streets. They can't even fucking read it.
But before we get into everything, go on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope, and follow Offended Pod. Make sure to go follow PWP Nation on all those social media platforms as well, at PWP Nation. Make sure to go buy our t-shirt at www.prowrestlingtees.com/offended-podcast. Make sure to go listen to our podcast, Offended, which is on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts, every Friday at 7 a.m. Central. For all you hockey listeners out there that don't listen to the Central Time, that's when it'll just be up then. Just go listen every Friday. Just go listen to it on Friday. This week on Offended we talk UFC 229 with Gage. Comes back on the show. Cougar is what everybody probably knows him better as if you're an avid listener of our show. Our UFC correspondent. We talk Khabib McGregor. We also talk the publicity of Kanye West and how the publicity train works, and people still fall into that and still believe everything that comes out of his mouth, and it's hilarious to me. He's just selling albums. This works every time. You may not like it.
Marketing 101.
Works every time. It is. Make sure to go watch for you wrestling fans out there, make sure to watch our weekly wrestling wrap-up, which is exclusively on Periscope every week, either Thursday or Wednesday on Periscope. We just cover everything wrestling on that. We just did one today, covered New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we had our Super Showdown predictions. So we'll see how that goes. Make sure to go follow our Spotify playlist if you like music at Offender Presents Songs of the Week. So make sure to go listen to that. All right, all the plugs are done. I'm so done with plugging shit today. This is our 3rd show we've done today.
All the butt plugs.
Oh my god, I plugged so many plugs. So many butt plugs.
like butt plugs that that go at the end of a hockey stick. You know,
Definitely.
That's what they're called.
I'm a little tired right now because
I'm fucking exhausted.
This is our third show now we've done. We've been recording since 6 o'clock. It's now 10:36. This is what you do, though. This is why we've gotten to where we've gotten. We're
almost at that 1,000 mark.
We're 18 followers away from 1,000. Last night we were at 80. Right now we're at 18. Maybe more. Maybe a little less than that now.
Less. I could check.
We're growing, and in a weird viral way, we are actually hitting a lot of followers very quickly now.
We're 14 away.
We're 14 away, but we're hitting followers very quickly each day now. We've gotten
we're at 500 at the end of August. Right at the end?
At the end of August, I think we just hit 5. I think we may have just hit 400 at the end of August.
No, it was 5. Remember? Because I said at the end of August we're going to hit 500 fucking followers.
Yeah,
we did.
And we've only had Twitter. We only had a Twitter account for
2-3 months.
Yeah,
if that.
3
months, maybe. Yeah.
We got it at the very end of July.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not even going to count July because I think we had it for 2 days in July. And we had August, September, literally 3 months.
Yeah.
If you count that as 3 months, because October just started.
True.
It's insane. We're going to hit 1,000 within under 3 months.
Take that, you fucking losers.
It's insane. And we keep growing. The last couple of days, we have grown. The last couple of days, we have gotten a solid 40 to 60 followers per day.
It's crazy.
It's insane. So thank you everybody.
Guys.
Thank you. Humble brag. Thank you. Let's get into hockey. Hockey's back. Hockey's here. I wish I was more live for this.
Let's go.
I wish I was more live. Hockey has started tonight.
You know what? Tomorrow will really kick in for us.
Oh yeah, we're going to the Blues game.
So
pumped.
And since we're here, since we brought up the Blues, I want to. So as we ended Offended, we did our weekly wrestling wrap up. We just finished recording Offended. In between Offended, we had the interview for Hockey Talks, and then we finished recording Offended. At the very end of Offended, Clodius over here had maybe one of the strongest hot takes I've ever heard for a rookie coming into the season for the St. Louis Blues. And go ahead, say what you say.
Sammy Blaze.
Say what you said.
Will have 65 points if he stays around for the whole season, which I think he will. I know if whatever. If he sticks out this year with the Blue Notes, does not get sent down, he will have 65 points.
So before you rebuttal this, Jim, I just want to let you know, the last time for Game 1 of Hockey Talks, Dan said to 7 different people he's not going to start this year. At least 4 of them actually aren't.
5.
Actually, I think it is 5, because he texted me again today. He's like, he's not starting either. I'm like, you motherfucker.
I have not been wrong. I'm not letting it get to my head.
Well, you're wrong. You're wrong on 2 players, though.
What were the 2 players that I'm wrong on?
I don't remember. But we had. I remember counting 7.
I know for a fact that I was wrong on 1 for sure. I know for a fact that I was wrong on.
The Zetterberg one blows my mind.
Zetterberg one was crazy.
That's what started.
Literally the next day.
It was literally the next day when Hockey Talks
retiring.
came out.
Nailed it.
When Hockey Talks came out, Zetterberg announced his retirement from the NHL. The night before when we recorded this, Dan said he's not going to start this year. He doesn't even think he's going to start at all. He might actually just be done.
Yeah.
I got called an idiot. I got reamed. I got called a mark.
I don't think I reject. I don't think I.
You did. You
don't.
told me exact words. I think he wants to be around to show these rookies how it's done this year. I think he wants to be around to show if he's not going to play.
You're just an idiot. Listen to what I said. I think he wants to. Meaning, yeah, deep down he wants to fucking play. I never said that he'd be like, fucking, I'm done. I want to retire.
And he did say fuck it because he's in Sweden.
Right, he had to retire because he's like, my shit's fucked up. But I was implying that personally, in his mind, I think he would have loved to been able to, if he was healthy enough, to stick around to help rebuild this team for the young kids. I never was being like, no, he wants to fucking play. Yeah, of course he wants to play.
My thing on that whole thing that I don't think you realized on that is his contract. So this year, say that he would have played. Do you know how much money he would have made this year?
I don't know how much.
Less than 1.5 mil, because his contract, he was signed heavy up front. So I feel like Detroit kind of played the whole system here and they all kind of knew that coming up into this season / the next, I think it's 3 to 4 seasons, his contract is less than $1 million a year. But since the contract that he signed, it only helps the Red Wings moving forward. So I feel like they kind of knew what was coming up.
Either way.
And I feel like it just kind of happened. So therefore, like, I don't feel like I kind of called it because I feel like I read a little bit more than most people did. So it was kind of obvious on that.
He was under contract this year.
And he's under contract for the next 4 years, but the contract that he's under is so cap-friendly to the Red Wings that it's only going to help them for signing future like anything else. And so I feel like that's why it played it. I honestly don't even really think he's as injured as...
I think he's that fucked up and that it's not worth that much money to go out there and possibly hurt yourself for.
True, because he got paid.
Either way.
I just don't believe that I disagreed with you.
Oh, you did. We did. We both did. We both disagreed.
But I don't think if I did, I don't think I meant to come off as like disagreeing as like that's a stupid opinion. I think it was like I think he wants to be there.
Yeah, I can see. Okay,
you know
I can. I can see that now. But
like hoping that he doesn't have
in
to
the heat
retire.
of the moment when it comes to me and you, we go at it. But like we both know exactly what we mean, whatever. But
either way,
not going to start the year. How you doing?
Way.
Good start to the season.
Either way, let's be honest. The Red Wings are just garbage this year anyways.
Or they're trash. Who's going to be worse? Ottawa or the Red Wings?
Or Vancouver.
No, not Vancouver. Don't bring them into this right now.
I just did.
Pedersen.
Actually, I think Ottawa's probably going to be the worst team in the league this year.
Oh, they're hot garbage.
I think Ottawa will definitely be the worst team in the league this year. But speaking of hot garbage, while we're on the topic of hot garbage and human pile of shit, Thomas Wilson.
Not going to start the year, buddy.
20 games.
See you later.
20 games for Mr. Wilson.
See ya.
See you later.
See ya.
Yeah. What a
piece of shit.
Yeah, he's just trash. Like... Oh man,
I'm pretty lenient on big hits. Like I'd be like, keep your head up. But that one, it's like, dude,
it's a blind
like,
side.
You're up. You're way up.
I fucking hate that guy. Tom Wilson's a clown. He deserved that 20 games. If it was, personally, I don't think the hit was as terrible as people think that it was. Yes, Tommy Tryhard, you're a fucking preseason, buddy. What are you doing? Don't agree with how it happened and what it all happened. But if you look at it, I don't think it was as dirty as a hit as everybody's making it out to be. But he does deserve those 20 games for everything else. He has been suspended 4 times in the past, 159 games?
I think...
That's terrible.
I think it was dirty. I think it was dirty in the sole fact of, like, dude, it's... First,
the last game of preseason.
I know it's hockey. It's hockey. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's preseason on top of it. And at the same time, it's like, did that hit really need to happen?
It didn't.
I don't know. There's just a lot of factors.
Just don't hit him high.
Yeah.
I'm fine with you coming out from the inside. Just don't hit him high.
He did have his head down.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But it does not. Keeping your head up will help you from that.
Yes.
But here's the thing: when you're hitting somebody, keep your fucking arms down. Hit him in the chest.
Yeah.
Hit him in the side.
And he jumped. And he kind of leaps up without leaving the ice.
I don't think that it was as dirty as a hit as the 20-game suspension indicated. But I do think that 20-game suspension is an overall. An overall fuck you, an overall fuck you to Tom Wilson for being a goddamn shit show, and you're a fucking embarrassment to
being a repeat offender of a headhunter.
That is what this 20-game
suspension
was for.
The NHL player safety was basically like, we had enough of your shit.
100%. But I do not think that hit was as dirty as people are making it out to be. Yes, last game of the preseason, in the second, you're up 3-1 at the point. What the fuck are you doing?
I've seen dirtier hits.
There's no reason for it.
I've seen dirtier hits. Don't get me wrong. I have seen 100%. Dirtier hits. However, it was still dirty.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing on the dirtiness. But I'm saying that hit alone. Say that hit alone happened from anybody else in the league.
Stuck up
20 games is not happening. The fact that it was
you might get
3 to 5, maybe as a first time offender.
Right.
But Tom Wilson, 159 games. And you've been suspended 4 times. Yeah. And those 4 times that you have been suspended, Not one is less than 5.
Hey guys, we got
2 more than 10.
breaking news for you baseball fans. Yankees win.
Let's go.
Yankees win 7-2, which means they will play the Boston Red Sox in the next round.
What a matchup!
I know.
What a matchup.
That's gonna be good.
Not baseball fans over here. I think we can all agree on this.
And hey, I want to say this real quick since we brought baseball real quick. I just want to bring this up to all you St. Louis listeners out there. If you're bashing the Cubs and the Cubs fans, you are fucking sore losers.
Horrible
you are
people.
sore losers, and we haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. Who are any of you to go out and say fuck you to the Cubs or fuck you to their fans when it's like our number one thing in October for the last 3 years has been cheering on a Cubs loss? Let that sink in.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I want them to lose. I'm glad they lose, but like, I'm not going to be like, they lost in the playoffs. Like, we're not in.
I'm not going to.
We haven't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Cubs lost. Fuck you. Like, why am I tweeting about this?
Like, I love that they lose.
We haven't made
I'm
the
100%.
But it doesn't make me feel better about my
We
team.
look like a bunch of fucking sore losers.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks stupid. Like, I get it. Yeah, I don't like the Cubs either, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, fuck you, Chicago, when Chicago's like, well, we won the World Series before you guys won the World Series. We won more Stanley Cups, and we still have an NFL team. Like, we look stupid when we... But it's like, we look stupid when we fucking trash talk to Chicago right now. We look
St.
fucking
Louis.
dumb.
Yeah, what a city.
And I just realized, before we got all hot and bothered by the Zetterberg comic and everything, we never got to hear the argument, Sammy Blaze.
Sammy Blaze.
That's a hot take, man. I probably didn't need to call you the big idiot as I think you are, but that's a...
No.
Can you
repeat
what the hot take was again?
Sammy Blaze will have 65 points. 60 to 65 points. I'm not recanting, but 60 to 65 points his rookie year. And it's very possible, and I think he's got the talent, the size, the speed, the skill to do it. If he slots in next to Shen and or maybe up and down that lineup, I very well feel like he will put up 60, 65 points.
I got a bet for you. If he doesn't, you have to get a jersey of Wilson from the Capitals and wear it for 2 days.
Oh.
All right.
Well, okay.
I'll accept that.
You heard it here first.
All right.
I'll just bet you like a blue bomb or something.
I accept yours for sure. I'll shake on that.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm very high on him. I hope he gets a lot of points. I'm not going to say 65 this year. I'll say he's in that 40 to 50 range. 45-50. I'll give him that because it just depends how well our top 6 match together. If our top 6 are flowing with each other, unless there's a big injury, I don't see him getting that much like second line playing time. I could see him getting a lot of third line playing time, which I think would get him up to around that 50 range.
Okay.
But if I have a feeling he'll be playing that third, fourth line role a good part of the year, and I think that could keep him from getting 65
Okay, so my question. You're talking about our top 6 and how they gel together and what they're producing to where you think that he's going to be pretty much a third-line guy. What do you think our top 6 is that is preventing him from sliding in? Where do you see our top 6, and who do you see on our top 6? Granted, our first line, I'm pretty sure, is set in stone. For sure, not going to move no matter what. Tarasenko, Patty Cakes, O'Reilly. Correct.
Yes.
Our second line, I'm assuming, is going to be based around Shen. What I have thought, where I'm basing my opinion on 60-65, Shen, Blaze, Schwartz. Where do you have our top 6 at, do you think?
Do they have Blade lodged in at the second line?
I think start of the season, Blaze is slotting in on our third line with...
See, I've seen multiple...
I thought he was on the fourth line.
No, our fourth line is Thomas, Barbashev, and...
Thompson?
No, not Thompson.
Thomas?
Thomas, Barbashev, and Kyrou. No, Kyrou is slotted in as a second, and they have Blaze slotted in on the fourth with
line.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say,
that's
saw
what
Kyrou
I saw. But
line.
I think that Sammy Blaze with the size and the skill up front, not saying Kyrou does not have that because he does. He doesn't have the size factor. I think that Blaze and Kyrou might switch is what I see coming.
I think Kyrou is the one who's going to surprise everybody this year. And actually, like, not to like diehard hockey people who pay attention to like the way that Jordan Kyrou has played hockey, but I think Jordan Kyrou is going to surprise a lot of the NHL this year, and I think he's going to have an incredible year. I think Kyrou is going to have a better year than Blaze. Blaze, how do you pronounce it?
Blaze.
Yeah.
Blaze.
I could see them both getting flip-flopped. But also, like, it depends. Pat Maroon might end up sliding down to a third line. Not because of his play, but because maybe
his game style.
Because of his game style.
Yeah. I'm not too sure how I feel about that first line, by the way.
I like it. No, I like it a lot more than...
I'm iffy about Maroon. What I don't like is Steen and Perron on the same line.
Yeah.
I did not
That's
want
like
that.
We're recreating the same issue we've had for years.
But I did say if they were going to do that, they better put some young kids in that spot to fill in for in that second line.
The Blues are starting the year with 3 rookies.
Well, our second line is actually Shen, Schwartz, and Kyrou.
Right.
Yes.
Which, damn.
Which I thought Blaze was going to slide into that Kyrou spot.
They could.
But why?
And it's tough, because Kyrou is a hell of a fucking player.
I have a question. Why wouldn't you not put Tarasenko back with that line to start the season?
I think that they are thinking that they're going to put Tarasenko up front right away with O'Reilly, see what happens, and then they're going to add a guy like Patty Cakes that honestly he doesn't give a fuck about his last name at all. He plays for that crest, and he plays in your face. Granted, he ain't going to beat many people up, but he'll go at you.
He'll go to war for your team.
And he will. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do. I feel like they want St. Louis to see the fact that this is the one guy that plays not for his name, not for the money, but he plays for the team. And it just so happens that he's from here, and I feel like that's just kind of for the home opener that they want to get that feeling out. Not to mention that we are losing so much grit on the back end coming into Winnipeg, which it's going to be a very dangerous game. We're out Edmondson. We're out Bortz. Those are our 2 grittiest people.
Edmondson's hurt?
He's done for game 1. Lower body. Not starting the year, bud.
Motherfucker. I didn't know. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Not playing.
Fabry's not.
Gunnarsson,
he's out for like a week or 2.
Granted, they're doing Fabry a favor right now. He has rehabbed his knee, and he has rehabbed it hard. And his knee is 100%, and he's good to go. But when you're rehabbing that hard and you're actually working for the first time and not drinking beers during the offseason, other areas of your body will ache because you're going so hard in one area. So he's not in game shape, but he is healthy. He's not hurt, but he's not game ready. So they're doing what they need to do. Fabry's 23 to 24 years old right now, and he's coming in on a 1-year deal. How about you? And we have depth throughout our lineup right now. Yeah. We are good to have him wait for. He's not going to add grit, so you don't need to throw him in there. All he's going to do is add speed. And a little bit, but we got Kyrou and some rookies that are kind of hungry.
If I was the Blues, I'd fill in Fabry his first few games on that 4th line. Keep his minutes
100%.
Low, and you still are getting a skilled guy.
Slot him in next to Steen.
You're getting a skilled guy with your 4th line, which the 4th line I'm very excited about. So I think you're gonna, if you give them,
you're finally letting
8 to 12 minutes a game.
Yeah,
you're fine. The Blues are finally doing what we have been saying that they need to do for 5 fucking years. They're letting the kids play.
But that's yay.
And they're getting Schmaltz up now, and Schmaltz is going to start
for now.
Yeah.
I could see Schmaltz staying around.
So
Gunnarsson's on the.
I like him.
Gunnarsson's on the long time IR.
I know, and
until mid-November.
I know, and I think Schmaltz is going to make it very hard for Gunnarsson to have a spot back.
I don't think Gunnarsson should have had a spot in the first place. I get why he did at our time and our defense, but I'm thinking that we're all underestimating Mikkola.
Yeah.
Well, the dude, the Finnish defenseman, he's a gamer.
What
and he's
about
gritty.
What's his name? Starts with a W. He's in our minor league system.
Wallman.
Not Wallman. Maybe it is Wallman.
It's Wallman.
Is it Waldman? Walderspoon?
Something like that, yeah.
Wallman?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be... I'm excited. The Blues are finally playing the young kids like how we wanted them to do, and I'm looking forward to this season. I think Allen's going to have a decent year. I actually do think that. If he doesn't, he's done. His time in St. Louis is done.
He's got 2 months to prove to me.
Yep, definitely. And I think the Blues are just.
I think Allen will be top 4 in save percentage this year.
I hope. I just don't think the Blues are going to be as deflating this year. I said this last Hockey Talk. If they hit that bad streak, which every team usually does during the year,
and they will happen.
It's going to be a competitive bad streak, in my opinion. Which meaning we might lose some games, but it'll be like
it's not going to be blowouts.
We looked good. We looked good. It was a tough game. Though if they can keep the wheels going at a good speed, I'll be.
And when you go back, you look from opening night roster to last year's opening night roster. It's like holy shit! It looks like an AHL team versus an NHL team now.
Yeah. But I think our mix of vets, our rookies, and the way that EA has lined them up to start the season. Granted,
Kanye?
Yep, yeah. I'm calling him that from now on.
Mike Ye?
Yep, Ye. I think that his mix of vets and rooks and the way that he's lined them up. Granted, the way that he lined up the rooks aren't really benefiting me in my predictions moving forward. But I think the way that he did it and how he's doing it makes sense. And I don't think personally that he should change Kyrou or anything. And that's going against everything that I'm predicting to happen. And I'm about that because I feel like it is correct moving forward. And watching Kyrou in the preseason, I know it's preseason, you can say what you want, but the dude's a gamer.
Yeah,
and the dude can put up points.
Yeah.
And he flies and he's a team guy, and I feel like
fast.
all
They're hungry.
three of
Those
them,
kids are hungry, man.
I think they are. And then also plays in a point to where that's why Fabry's in no rush to come back.
No.
Put Gunnarsson on that long-term IR. I think Mikkola might stay, and I feel like that's why Schmaltz. That's why that article, I feel like they're talking about number 1 might be out, because that Finnish defenseman brings a lot more to the table than what people saw. And I think that he is more in your face, and he is smooth. Smooth on that back
And it's going to help Schmaltz if he does play more time in the minors. I'd rather him still be playing than be kind of like a 7th defenseman up here.
I personally think that in this first couple weeks, if Mikkola draws in, which I think leading up to Game 1, that he might, I feel like he will impress more people than Schmaltz will on both ends of the ice. And I feel like he will be the one to stick around before Schmaltz will. And I also think Schmaltz trade value / all that might be a little higher right off the bat because of the fact that he's been in certain systems for a decent period of time.
Yeah, definitely.
But Mikkola is a gamer, and he will. This Finnish defenseman, just look out for him. He will be a 40 to 45 point guy in the next couple years on the third line pairing. He's a gamer.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, it's time to get into our interview with JCD, talking about the 94 Rangers Cup run.
Well, Rangers talk.
But before we do that, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, Kyle Fauché.
I'm interrupting this podcast to ask a few important questions. If you were stuck on a desert island, would you want Will Smith movies or Will Smith music? Who's the baddest villain Jason Statham has gone up against in his movie career? What are the top 10 most rewatchable TV shows of all time? Check out the Going Off Topic blog with me, Kyle Fauché, to get the answers and much, much more. You can find the website at kylefauché.blogspot.com. That's KYLEFOSHE.blogspot.com. Make sure to subscribe so you get the new post right in your email. Also check out the social pages, going_off_topic and MostState314 on Twitter, and Going Off Topic with Kyle Fauché on Facebook. Now back to the guys with the Offended Podcast.
Okay, we now welcome on Hockey Talks, the first time ever on Hockey Talks, a recurring guest on Offended, or one of our favorite guests, probably our favorite
Definitely
guest.
the favorite.
No offense to Gage, who's sitting right in front of us, who's on Offended this week, but JCD from the Unpopular Podcast. Unpopular? Produced by PWP Nation. JCD, what's up?
What's up, guys?
How does it feel to be on Hockey Talks now? I think you're the first. You might be one of the few.
We've had people do a Hockey Talk with us, but we haven't had anybody,
I think this is our first Skype interview, though, on Hockey Talks.
It is.
I think it is, too. Yeah.
So who knows where this is going to fucking go.
Wow.
You know where it's going to go?
Where, right into that fucking paperback book you're about to buy from The Rock?
Oh, Jim. I have enough toilet paper in my house. I don't need to buy any more.
Well, what's up with your voice?
Okay.
You sound like you sound like the Emperor from Star Wars.
It's going to lead to Hockey Talk being exposed to the millions. Millions.
I think we have to give a little background because we have different listeners on Hockey Talks Than Offended. JCD's from New York. Going to talk about his Rangers 94 Stanley Cup run, but he also hates Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Pete Davidson.
Really fucking.
Yep. God forbid he does access. That's all I'm saying.
But anyway,
I don't care what the ticket will cost.
How do you feel? Let's get right into it. You're from New York. You're a Rangers fan. How do you feel about the Rangers this year?
I think they're going to be a little better than everyone thinks they're going to be. Everyone thinks this is going to kind of be like an unofficial rebuild. I don't know. They might surprise a little. I mean, if they finish like 8th in the conference, I wouldn't be surprised. If they finish like 4th or 3rd, I wouldn't be surprised either. Either way, I think this is going to be it for Lundqvist. I mean, he doesn't want to leave here, but you just got to do the right thing by him. If you're not going to put together a run this year, you got to send him somewhere to win a cup. It's the only thing the poor guy has not done.
No,
I mean,
1,000% agree with that.
I mean, 2015 was just, it was just like so close, so close. And he played his ass off. He is not the reason they lost that series at all. I don't care which game he got pulled. I don't care which game he gave up 6 goals. You look at that series, that playoff run as a whole. He was godlike. He was as close to a stone wall as you can get. Poor Lundqvist. God love him.
He's a good looking man.
And you know what helps too with Lundqvist is he's popular. He gives back to the community. He gives back to the team. He knows who made him the star he is today. He's not an ingrate like other people that
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell.
I mean, not to name any names or anything. But no, all jokes aside, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to get ragged for this. Were either of you two guys alive in '94?
Yes.
Yeah, I was 2.
I was, when they won the cup, I was 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I turned 2 like a month before that. But I've watched some of the NHL Network talked about this fucking run and just how fucking.
What do you guys know of that run and everything that led into it? And let me see the way it's held up over time versus no, this is what it actually was. What's the big moment of that run?
For me, looking back on it, this is one of the moments when I was a kid that really turned me on to hockey. I remember being in the living room, 3-year-old me being in the living room watching Mark Messier, the iconic Stanley Cup celebration with Messier. That him screaming with the cup. That's one of the most iconic pictures I think you can put in professional hockey, especially in the NHL. That will go down as one of the greatest hockey moments, hockey Stanley Cup celebrations maybe ever. That's what I remember for it, and I can credit that to maybe me being turned on to hockey. Especially that, and you fast forward 2 years later to the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup. That was when I was completely hooked, which is weird because in '96 I was also hooked in wrestling. So,
yeah, Jim, what about you?
Off the top of my head, I can't. I remember it was just a fucking hell of a year for him. I mean, President's Trophy, right?
Yep.
I mean, they were just fucking on top. It was they just couldn't fucking be beat. And then, same as Todd, the Mark Messier trophy holding.
And what about him saying,
you know what, you guys are jumping
and him
the gun.
being
you don't get to the Messier trophy without the penalty shot.
Right. I mean,
when Richter stops Bure in Vancouver, that is the moment of that finals that's above all else. And let me tell you something about that. What MSG did and it was $10. You could go to the Garden and watch the game on like the Jumbotron, not even like the little Paramount Theater or whatever they call it now. I think the Nokia or a Hulu Theater. Mm-hmm. You actually were in the Garden. They had the ice down because they were coming back in a couple nights anyway. And the game was on the screen. And Vancouver, I think that game started at like 9:30. And I went. And I actually had a final. I was a junior in high school, and I had a final the next day. And I went to a Catholic high school, so you had to wear the shirt, the tie, the dress pants, the dress shoes, whatever. I still can't tell you how. I show up at school in my Messier jersey, shorts, sneakers, beer-soaked hat, and I'm like, yeah, I need to take like my consumer math final right now. But, it was just, that's what New York was about at that time. Plus, you had the Knicks going crazy, but that penalty shot was really what did it. That right there was, if Bury would have scored that in Vancouver, they would have lost that series in 5 games, without a doubt. Which would have been almost as heartbreaking as 92, when the 92 team, as crazy as this sounds, was actually better than the 94 team. The 92 team had Messier, had Graves. I think Gardner was still on. Yeah, Gardner was on that team. I think you had a young Kovalev. Tony Granato was around still at that point. You had Richter and Van Beesbrook. And that team, that's the team that Graves got hurt, and then they lost that bullshit series to the Penguins. And
that's right.
That was the team that would have definitely won the Cup. They would have. Who did Pittsburgh beat that year? But they would have steamrolled the rest of the way had they gotten to the Penguins. And that was, you want to talk about heartbreaking. Yeah, 94 would have sucked if they would have lost. But 92 was just like, I was like 16. And when they lost that 6th game to the Penguins, it was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, did they have Brian Leach in 92?
Yes.
He was on that team then as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let me tell you a quick small world story about Brian Leach. My dad has a funeral home in Queens. Brian Leach is married to my old high school assistant gym teacher. Her family, every single family member, was buried out of my dad's place. I've seen Brian Leach on funerals like a million and one times, and every single time I saw him, my dad would just look at me and be like, if you go near him and ask him for an autograph, I swear to God, I'm ending you right here.
But what I was going to say, JCD, is like, it's like, you want to talk about heartbreak. We're Blues fans. We know heartbreak. We've experienced heartbreak for the entire franchise. Well, at least we've experienced heartbreak our entire lives. Even people older than us have experienced the entire time the Blues have been a franchise.
But I don't think we've witnessed, like, the top intense heartbreak. Like, 14 when we lost in the conference finals to San Jose?
That was heartbreak, but I think top tier, dude, when we had Gretzky. And then
that was just a bunch of fucking stupid ownership mistakes.
But the
Shanahan's a pussy.
But the Eisman slap shot was heartbreak from the blue point.
I love Stevie Y though.
Yeah, it's criminal that Hull never got a cup there. That's criminal.
But before we get into like the actual the full story, I gotta ask you, because how do you feel about Kevin Shattenkirk? Because you took him off our hands. I mean, you didn't take him off our hands. He went to Washington, then to New York. But how do you feel about this little Andy Kaufman-looking motherfucker?
I don't love him.
He's a piece of shit. Like,
yeah, I get why they did it. It was, the annual or the every couple of year big Ranger free agent move. Brad Richards and all those guys. Like, I get it. But
he became
Eric
complacent
Lindros and all those guys. It's I hate Shatternick. I hate him.
But yeah, Shattenkirk though is just like, man, Jim could tell you, I despise Shattenkirk in St. Louis. Like, ever since we had that playoff series against Chicago, and Shattenkirk's one of those defensemen that backs up too far, and he let Patrick Kane skate right into the slot, and it's like, how do you not step up on him, take the body, make him do a move around you, Hopefully the puck just gets lost. Take the fucking body.
Yeah, but that's why he fits in here, because ever since like Jeff Bukaboom, they have not had like an aggressive, physical defenseman.
No,
Girardi wasn't that guy. Stahl's not that guy. Zubov wasn't that guy. Like they just don't play that game, and it's like
you still don't.
You're in the Eastern Conference with with Ovechkin, with Crosby, with Malkin, with this one and that, and it's like, why not put a body on him? It's no different like in basketball, like when Jordan would drive, he knew Ewing was going to be there. Even if he went over on Ewing, he knew it was going to be physical. It's why do you not have a defenseman who's just going to stand there? And you know what? Even if he gets past you, make him pay for it a little. Like make him feel it in the morning. And that's the problem with this team. They're not physical. How many times you see these guys get beat up? Poor Zuccarello's just beaten like a fucking redheaded stepchild and countless times in the course of a season, same thing with Kreider, and they have nobody that will just turn around and be like, oh yeah, you hit our guy, well now watch what we're going to do to you. I mean, that was the best part about those teams. You had Bukaboom, you had Domi, you even had batshit crazy Esa Tikkanen, like you had the guys that would have laid you out or at least tried to. That's why Shadownick's a fit here, unfortunately.
I'm drawing a blank. Who was the captain of the Rangers before he got traded last year at the deadline?
McDonough,
yeah. I don't understand the Rangers' thought process here, because they were like right on the line of making the playoffs, not making the playoffs, and they could have possibly, I think if they would have traded for somebody, I think they would have made the playoffs. And
the problem is they're trying to reset the cap. They're trying to clear the cap, and you were going to be a 7 seed, maybe a 6. And hey, don't get me wrong, anything can happen. I mean, look at San Jose in '94. San Jose knocked off Detroit, in the 8-1 series. Anything can happen, but odds are, on paper, it was just like, okay, we can take on maybe, are we going to take on, let's say, $5 million in extra payroll to get one round out of these guys? Or, you know what, let's clear some space, let's get rid of some guys, let's get some guys out of here, and you know what? Let's see what happens. We've got some young talent. Vessey's going to be a star, man. I'm telling you. Vesey is... People love him here.
Oh, Vesey's good, man. Vesey's really good.
Yeah, he's going to be, Zuccarello. They got a lot of little guys.
I like Zooks.
And that's what it is. It's just the problem with that is you've got a 30-plus-year-old goaltender that you owe a run to. Picture hitting the reset button with Mike Richter in goal.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that.
No, not at all. My biggest thing with the Rangers is where I think they fucked up was trading away Ryan O'Callahan. I think that was their biggest mistake. That guy was the heart
he wasn't
and soul.
going to resign though. But the general feeling here was he wasn't going to resign. So it became a matter of, well, let's get something for him.
Yeah. And he
which you can't fault that. I mean, if you got a guy with that kind of talent, there's no chance for you to retain him. Then you know what? I've always been that guy. Like, listen, you know what? Deal him. Get something for him at least. Don't let him walk. What good is you don't know what the pick's going to be or the compensation. It's not. At least get something.
Well, on top of that
was. I don't understand why they couldn't make that work. They could have made him with the way New York City is. They could have made him the face of that franchise for years behind Lundqvist, and he would have fit in like a king here.
Definitely, and. I find it interesting because I remember seeing all that stuff like, Callahan wants to leave, and all this stuff. And then Callahan gets interviewed when he gets down to Tampa Bay. He's like, I don't know where this came out. I never wanted to leave. And it was kind of the same with like McDonough. McDonough's like, why are we trading away our players?
Here's the problem with the New York media and guys in New York, and I have a bunch of friends that are Islander fans that will tell you this. What comes out in the media and what's reality are two different things. I mean, Jesus Christ, Tavares was at Belmont for the press conference. Oh, I can't wait to open this place up. It's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And did he even wait 5 minutes into free agency to sign that deal with Toronto? He couldn't get out of Long Island, Brooklyn fast enough. I mean, it's hard. And you know what it is, too, here? It's not the Yankees. It's not the Mets. It's not the Giants. It's not the Jets. It's not the Knicks. Hockey, while the Rangers have all the buzz, you don't have the media attention to it, so it's not like you get a baseball beat writer who, let's say, has an issue with, Brett Gardner. Gardner was a dick to me. Now I'm going to write a bullshit story about Gardner.
Right.
Or, I don't like, Todd Bowles, so I'm going to write a bullshit story about Bowles. Hockey really doesn't have that here. So, I mean, the guys who are covering it are mostly covering it because they have to. It's not like you don't really hear from the Rangers beat writer on Mike Francesa's show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no drama.
No.
Yeah, and, so it's not like you're going to get like, oh, well, I heard that McDonough wants out of here. Yeah. Well, where'd that come from? You don't get that like you would with the other sports.
Hockey players aren't built that way anyway in general throughout the league.
Right.
Honestly, so you're not going to get... Like, very rarely do you get that, like...
Exactly.
And if it's, I want to get out of here, it's like, they'll admit it's either to help the team salary-wise or it's, I kind of want to move on, I don't fit here kind of thing.
Right. You're not going to get that he said, she said, kind of drama in the media on the radio shows or the newspaper or the, this, that you will with the other sports. So, it's kind of... It's a different animal, but, the Callahan one was always like, wait, they did what?
Yeah.
But if, again, if the guy wasn't going to come back, and part of it too was they just weren't in a position to give him what he was really worth. I mean, that gets lost in all this. It's no different. The only reason why the Rangers get away with it is because they've been able to sneak into the playoffs the last couple of years, but it's really no different than what the Knicks have been doing. The Rangers have just been giving out bad money after bad money, and it's like,
you know how that is.
Eventually,
I was gonna say the Rangers are like the past couple of years they've been in a tough spot of like they have pieces that they're kind of in that rebuild, but like you said, like with their salaries
or they go
trades, it's like they're just in a fucking tough spot to do like a really structured rebuild.
You know what the problem is? Like I'm gonna be dead honest with you, and this is I don't care. Nationally, it may not look this way, but I'm going to give it to you right from the fact that it's in my backyard. The reason why you will not ever see a full tear down and rebuild is because everyone knows the Knicks are shit. Okay? April, May, and June can't be quiet at Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get it from the Knicks. So Dolan's going to turn around and tell these guys, what do you need? You need to give a guy $1.5 million more than what he's worth? Get him here. Who cares if he's 35? Brad Richards. You want to bring in Rick Nash? Yeah, Rick Nash was great in 1996. Bring him in. You want to do Kevin Shatternick? Sure, bring Shatternick in. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, you could have gotten like 3 guys that could really help this team long term. And... You're just going in on these guys just because, and for some reason with the hockey, I mean, you get the buzz. I mean, the minute Richard signed, those jerseys weren't. You couldn't find them anywhere. Same thing when Nash got here with Shatternick. And then there was the Joe Sakic incident of '97.
I mean, what about Rick Nash in New York? That never panned out the way that New York wanted it to.
The problem was Nash wasn't the same player when he got here.
Not at all.
He did not fit with you guys at all.
No.
Everybody was looking for NHL 07 Rick Nash, and it just wasn't that guy.
No. That's like saying if the Blues would have traded David Backes to like Pittsburgh, like it just he doesn't fit. Sense. Yeah,
I agree with you, JCD, though, about how. So kind of what you're saying is like when those late spring summer months come around, there needs to be something at the Garden. If they do a full rebuild, nobody's going to fucking go. It's like, honestly, it's like the Cardinals for us. Like, if the Cardinals were to tear down completely and have fucking look like the fucking goddamn Baltimore Orioles winning 20 games, this city would fucking riot.
I don't think they would riot. I think hockey would actually do better.
I think so, but we wouldn't have that. Baseball's our fucking bread and butter here in St. Louis. That's what everybody fucking loves.
You got to remember, too, and it's one of the things, honestly, that I hate about New York sports, even though I'm a Ranger fan, I'm a Yankee fan, thank God I'm not a Jet or Giant fan, but what?
I was laughing.
Go ahead.
I was laughing at the how you said you're not a Jets or Giants fan. Because why would you?
It's not a true sport fan event, a New York sporting event.
Yeah,
it's a corporate thing.
Right.
Like I'll give you a perfect example. I'm a Yankee fan. I took my son to his first Yankee game this year, and I was in my jersey. My kid was in a jersey. My wife was in a jersey. Even my father-in-law, we got a T-shirt for him. And we were surrounded by 900 people in fucking suits and fucking shirts and fucking undone ties, leaving in the 7th inning because they had to catch this train home, that train home. That's not a fan base, and it's the same thing in the Garden. No, you know, Matt, yeah, sure, MSG is crazy during the first round of the playoffs as far as packed. But when did you ever see MSG watch a Ranger playoff game? You ever see them swinging towels? You ever see them thunder sticks or anything like that?
No, they seem pretty calm to me, actually, now that you bring that up. I always think Madison Square Garden always seems pretty calm for a hockey game.
Because it's not you, me, and Jim going to a hockey playoff game.
It's a corporate event.
It's, hey, me and the guys from marketing are going to entertain this client, and I got 3 tickets to this Ranger game. Let's go sit in the box for 2 hours, and then we'll catch the LIRR at 9:15, and who cares where the game's at? That's what it is.
With that,
that's the problem. And
with
it
that,
sucks.
would you say more the hardcore hockey fan base are Islanders fans then?
No, because they're just as bad.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why they failed in Brooklyn, because a large majority of the Islander fans were just that. They were in Long Island. Nassau Coliseum was it was easy to get to on the LIRR. So you could leave your job at on Fifth Avenue, hop the Westbury LIRR train, and you pulled up pretty much spitting distance away from the Coliseum. Now you're asking that same fan to go to Brooklyn and then have to turn around and go out to Long Island. They're not doing it.
Yeah,
they're not doing it. I got one of my best friends is an Islander fan, and he was like, I love the Barclays and everything. He's like, but I gotta catch a train and then I gotta catch. He lives in Long Island too, and he's like, he used to be able to drive from his house to the Coliseum because he lived like 10 minutes away. Now he's like, I gotta hop another train going from the Barclays to Long Island. It's not that's why they failed in Brooklyn. It was nothing else. It was the fact that the people didn't follow, and the problem is the corporate guys were not gobbling up the Islander tickets at the Barclays Center. No. That's the problem.
All right. Let's get into your story, but real quick, are you watching the Yankees game?
I have it on in the background.
There you go.
Fuck the Yankees.
Fuck you, Jim.
I always liked Oakland when I was younger, but I love watching AL baseball. It's so fun. So.
I find it hilarious that Cardinals fans right now are like bashing Cubs fans, but it's like, hey, we haven't made the postseason in 3 years,
fucking years,
and that makes a lot of sense. And
sit down and shut up.
Basically, St. Louis in October right now cheer on a Cubs loss than cheering on the Cardinals. That's what St. Louis has become for baseball.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I hate that shit so much. It's like, why are you being sort of losers? Stop that shit.
Yeah, we didn't fucking win.
Just be ready for hockey.
Like, why be
Hockey's
happy
bad.
that the Cubs lost and we're not even in the fucking playoffs? Like, shut the fuck up. Be real about
Yeah.
sports for a fucking second.
I agree.
We suck. They win.
All right.
Anyway, let's get hockey.
There we go. JCD, so tell us, let's get into it. How was it? The Stanley Cup run, everything. Let's just tell this. Let's hear this. How was it? How was like say they won the President's Trophy, and did you have a feeling like they were going to win the Stanley Cup that year, or were you still nervous that they weren't going to?
It was the expectation, and the Islanders series was a joke. The Islanders series should have been over in 3 games, not even 4. But then they played Washington, and that was like, okay, they lost game 1, and it was like, all right. Then they kind of steamrolled Washington. Then the Devils series came, and let me tell you something. When they lost game 5 to the Devils, it was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. There was kind of rumblings that the Keenan story was starting to get out there, that he might have been looking elsewhere.
I forgot about that.
It was bad, and then they get down 2-0 to the Devils in that Game 6 on a Thursday night, and then Messier just does the freaking impossible, And let me tell you how this goes down. Young, prepubescent JCD on a Thursday night. I didn't have with the cable I had at the time. for some reason, I didn't have, I don't know why, I didn't have Sports Channel. I had MSG, I had ESPN, but for some reason that game was on Sports Channel, which carried like the Devils and like Belmont horse racing. So I didn't have it. So the Daily News used to have a channel that literally was in all print, and every now and then the stories would update. So I literally watched that all night, waiting like every 10 minutes for the Rangers score update, and it's 2-0 Devils going into, and it's like, oh fuck. Then it's like 2-1. Oh, okay. Then it's 2-2, and it's like, all right. Then it's 3-2, and then Messier scores the hat trick. It's like, all right, this is great. This is great. Then comes Game 7, and Game 7 was a fucking, oh my god, was a fucking emotional roller coaster. I think I aged like 15 years that night. I might have had a feeling that some little punk in Florida was going to piss me off for the rest of my life at that point, 2 years later. And I'm listening to the game again. Like, this is like, it's really like, we're literally talking like 24 years ago. Like, you got to really like think about like what's not available then. So I'm listening to the game on the radio, and I'm listening, and Matteau scores the goal, and I think I scared the shit out of my parents because I start screaming and yelling, and I had like this upstairs like attic that I took for like, you know, my little 17-year-old JCD bachelor pad, and I'm screaming. My dad comes running up like, what's the matter? I'm like, they fucking won. They fucking won.
It's like the Cardinals game 6, like against the Rangers.
You know, the Vancouver series was what they lost Game 1. It was like, okay, I've kind of seen this movie before, you know, because they lost Game 1 to Washington. They lost Game 1 to Jersey. It was like, all right, I guess the Rangers are going to lose Game 1 every fucking playoff series now. And then they get Game 2, and then they get the what you call it, they get the Bure, the penalty shot game, and I want to say they won Game 4. I think Game 4 was the blowout game, so they were up 3-1, and then they lost 5 at the Garden. Yeah, they won Game 4. They came back up 3-1, and everyone was like, okay, they're gonna win it tonight. It was like whatever, like a week before they won. Oh, they're coming back. They lose Game 5. All right. We'll go to Vancouver. We won in Vancouver. I was at a wedding that night, and my friend had his dad page him the scores every time something happened. Yeah, beepers. And
316?
Huh?
316,
yeah, right.
Rock, your favorite wrestler.
Yep, is it live or is it Memorex? And he would just shake his head. And I was like, what is it now? I think then it was like 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. I was like, fuck. And then like Game 7 was like 3 nights away. And it was just 3 nights of like, they're going to fucking blow this. They're going to fucking blow this. They're going to fucking blow this. Like every fucking pessimistic thought ever. And, you know, they come out Game 7, they come out, they get on top early, and, you know, don't look back. And that celebration was just when Bettman said, Captain Mark, like you said, Todd, Captain Mark Messier, come get the Stanley Cup. It was just like, wow, like just like the vindication. And what I had done was I had gotten a shitload of oak tag, and I built like this Stanley Cup. I wrapped it in tin foil. My friend was over. He had a car, so he was like, you know, the coolest kid around, you know, too. And I was like, I'm driving down this strip of Woodhaven Boulevard, hanging out his window, holding like this tin foil and oak tag stuffed Stanley Cup, like, yeah. And then finally he like gunned it, and the cup just flew out of my you know. And then I went to the parade, and that was just a blur. That was just fucking crazy, like, to be there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Keenan's leaving.
Oh, fuck Mike Keenan, by the way. Fuck Mike Keenan.
Yeah,
St. Louis
it was
has
like,
a
wait,
pure hatred.
It was like, wait, what? That story was real? That Keenan wanted to leave, and then it was like, well, they're going to get Peter Nedved as compensation. It was like, oh, okay, great, fucking Nedved. And then, it's the fucking lockout or whatever the fuck. And then, the banner raising ceremony. It was like,
oh, they did have a lockout, didn't they?
Tears, 18-year-old me just crying in my living room watching the banner get raised.
Oh, I say to Jim all the time, like, if the Blues ever win a Stanley Cup, number one, in the finals, I'm going to have a fucking heart attack if the Blues are ever in the finals. For sure, I'm going to have a heart attack. Two,
let me tell you something. That last like 3.4 seconds when there was the icing felt like 4 fucking days.
Oh, I believe it. That reminds me,
because it was in the zone too. It was in the zone, so I'm like, oh my god, they pulled Kirk McLean. I'm like, fucking Linden's gonna blast one upside Richter's fucking shoulder. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
Look, John, I don't know if you watched the Blues Blackhawks series from I think 2 or 3 years ago now.
14.
It was 14. Was it 14?
Or was it 16?
16. It was 16. 2016 in Game 7. So the Blues go up, kind of like the Rangers did, where all they had to do is win one game and they win the series, and then they lost the next 2, and Chicago forced a Game 7. Blues go up quickly in Game 7 by 2 goals, and Chicago comes back and ties the game. Troy Brouwer in the third period whiffs on a shot, but then somehow was able to regain.
In the crease.
He almost falls over from the puck, and actually was able to keep his composure and just tap the puck, and it goes in for a goal. The Blues go up 3-2. With a minute left, that last minute, dude, felt like it was 20 minutes. That last minute felt so long. And then Seabrook fucking hits both on a slap shot.
Both posts.
He hit both posts on a shot with 20 seconds left to would have tied the game, and he ricocheted off one post and went to the other post. Yeah. That moment alone felt like it was a minute. I was like, oh my god, did that just go in? But that was our Stanley, St. Louis. I don't think I've ever seen a city so excited over a first round playoff win.
And it was
we beat
the
Chicago.
First time the Blackhawks got fucking knocked out of the first round in how many years? I mean, I literally was in tears after Game 7 against Chicago because I was just so relieved of not having a heart attack.
The Blues killed their dynasty. The Blues killed the Blackhawks dynasty.
They did.
What have the Hawks done since?
Yeah,
they killed their dynasty.
Yeah,
I love it. But back on the Rangers in '94. So you were telling me to hype this up. You said that you, JCD, went to church the next day with a beer-soaked Messier jersey.
No, I went to school.
Oh, you went to school. That's what it was.
Oh, we thought church.
We thought church.
No. I went to school. I had to take a final.
Oh, that's.
I had to take a final the next day.
I would have not taken a fucking final.
Did you go to sleep at all that night,
dude? I had to graduate, dude. What the fuck?
That's true.
Did you go to sleep at all?
It would have been like 90210. JCD graduates.
But did you go to sleep the night before?
No, I don't even think I went home. I think I just was out, and then I was like, okay, how do we bus this to school? And then I just got off the bus and I was like, all right, let's go do this.
If the Blues ever win the Stanley Cup, number 1, I'm gonna cry for 2 hours, and then 3, I'm just gonna party till I die.
Probably.
I'm going out that.
I'd quit
there's
my
a difference between. Let me tell you something. If the Rangers would have won that cup with instead of 17-year-old me versus 26 or 27-year-old me, there's a good chance I probably would still be in an alcohol-induced coma.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question here, JC. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit back to the Devils series.
Yes.
How did you feel when Messier predicted a Game 6 win?
I was scared to death. I was like, you motherfucker.
I was going to say, I would have thought that. I would have been why? Actually, I'd be 50-50. It's part of me is I love that fucking confidence. But the other part of me is you don't fucking say that.
Dude, 92 was too fresh. That's what it was. 92 was a heartbreak. And like I said before, 92 was that team. If you stacked up those teams together and they played a series against each other, 92 would have probably smoked 94. I'm talking 5 games, if that. 92 was so much better. And that was still fresh. You got to be kidding me. You fucker. And then on top of that, Jersey goes up 2-0. It's oh man, you're kidding me. Why the fuck did you do this? And I was a huge Messier guy. I love the deal. Bernie Nichols, see ya. Bring Messier here. I mean, I couldn't have my fucking ironed on Messier jersey quick enough. Right. And But I was like, why? And then, like I said, they went down 2-0, and it was just like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but then he gets a hat trick, and it's like you completely forgive him for fucking saying it. It's like it's like he fucking showed up and did what he wanted to say.
Oh yeah, I ended up framing my Messier jersey right after the '94 run.
With
like
the beer,
I literally like
with the beer soaked in it.
Yeah. No, I think my mom washed it, and then
that's why they haven't won a Stanley Cup since.
I had to wear it for the rest of the run. And I framed it. Like I went and bought this like thick picture frame in the mall, and I just was like, "Fuck this!" I put my Messier jersey in it, and until he signed with Vancouver, then I pretty much destroyed it.
I got one last question for you before we let you go. What was the overall feeling like for you and like the city of New York winning that Stanley Cup?
When what?
What was like the overall feeling for you in the city, and basically like the city of New York winning the Stanley Cup in '94? What was that overall feeling like?
You know, for the young guys like me at the time, it was like, okay, how many more are we winning? And then I guess for the older fans, it was like, thank God I got to see it.
Yeah. And,
you know, yeah, I guess 15 was the closest. I mean, there's been some, you know, that 97 series against the Flyers was fun too. That went back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was at the game that they lost like 7-6 and they were down like 5-0 and they came back. It was a great game too, but it was just we really thought it was going to be the start of something bigger than what it was, you know. Mm-hmm. And maybe the lockout, you know, caused it. Maybe, you know, Keenan leaving. Maybe, you know, Messier leaving 2 years later, whatever. I don't know why it didn't happen, but
where did Messier go? He go to Vancouver?
Huh?
Messier went to Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. That was when. Let me tell you one last story of heartbreak. You remember the way do you remember the way old restricted free agency used to work?
No.
Vaguely.
Okay. So if you were a restricted free agent and you wanted to sign somewhere else, you signed your offer sheet, and your team had until midnight of the seventh day, to decide if they were going to match or they were going to let you go.
Yeah, that's how the Blues got screwed over on Shanahan and Stevens, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think on Stevenson's, definitely.
Yeah. So they signed Sakic like right away to like this ridiculous number. I think it was like, at the time, you got to remember, this is 97. I think it was like $10 million over like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even $10 million per. It was $10 million over 6. It was a crazy number. And everyone was like, there's no way Colorado's going to match that. It's ridiculous. You know, just wait. Even there used to be a store inside Madison Square Garden called, I slipped a little Boston there. That's a Pats fan in me.
What the fuck, man?
The Garden. Called Jerry Cosby's, and that was like the jersey store. It was, you know, you got your Ranger jersey there, you got your Knicks jersey there, you get whatever you want. And like Cosby's, like 2 days in, announced they were taking pre-orders on Sakic jerseys. It's like, all right, you know, I guess this is pretty much going to happen.
That's a bold
Day
move.
6,
Wow.
There's a rumbling in the paper. Colorado might be able to do it. You know, you got to remember, you're not getting this on the internet, Twitter. You're getting it like in your newspaper the next day. Maybe if, you know, ESPN ran a story on it on the 11 o'clock Sports Center, you know, you saw it.
Yeah, when the world
but it's a long shot. Yeah. I think literally, no joke, like 11:30 the night of, they fucking matched it.
Wow. So they
and the problem is, I think Messier was already gone. I think Messier was a full unrestricted free agent. I think he was already gone to Vancouver.
So New York essentially put all their chips on Sakic and let Messier go.
Yeah, which you know what though? I mean, if you look at it at the time, Sakic was younger. I mean, Messier had been here for like 6-7 years already. He won the cup. Like, you look at it back in '97, you're taking Sakic at that time over Messier at that time.
Definitely,
without a doubt.
You know, so I mean, it was. You know, it just made too much sense, and I think by the time it was done, Oh no, Messier went to Vancouver like right after because I think Messier's brother was his agent, and I think they called his brother in a frantic, and his brother was like, "No, you should have called us from like day one," and pretty much hung up on like Neil Smith and went to Vancouver, and the Rangers had nobody. They had no Sakic, no Messier. The team was 97 was brutal. It's just brutal. But yeah, we thought, we really thought it was going to be a run. We really thought we were looking at something similar like what the Yankees became, or even what the Giants did. 2 out of 5 years. Fuckers, and it just wasn't meant to be for whatever reason. But you know what? I got to see one, and I got to see that one, so I'm perfectly cool with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. And I know a lot of old time fans that were happy that they got to see one, and it was amazing. It really, I'm telling you, I'm not doing it justice, and I wish I could do it more, but I'm telling you, it's just one of those things you literally had to live through.
Yeah, it's like our 2011 World Series. It's like if you weren't a Cardinals fan or anything, like you had to be a Cardinal fan to feel that you can't. If you could, like they say in wrestling, like if you could bottle that moment, you'd be rich.
Definitely,
be really rich. But yeah, I like the Rangers. I've always liked them. I hate that they're not doing that well right now. I think they're a fun team to watch. So
they got Shattenkirk, so hopefully they shit for a while.
Hopefully they turn it around.
My only thing for this year is do the right thing by Lundqvist. Either put a contender in front of him, or
I feel
what I am thankful with everything I've seen with Lundqvist over the years. That if Lundqvist went somewhere else, as long as it wasn't like Pittsburgh or Washington, and went there and won a cup, I'd be more than happy for him. I'd be rooting for him the whole way.
Send him to St. Louis.
What?
Send him here. Send him here. Send him to St. Louis. We'll take him.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Real quick. I'll give you Shatternick back too.
Yeah. How do you pronounce Shattenkirk's name?
Huh?
How do you pronounce Shattenkirk's name?
Shatternick.
It's Shattenkirk.
Whatever. Fuck him. He sucks.
All right. Well, anyway, before we let you go, how can we find Unpopular?
What happened?
Before we let you go, how can we find Unpopular?
On Block Talk Radio. Under the PWP Nation tab.
Perfect. And this week you're talking about the All In. So what? Basically.
Yeah.
All right. Well, JCD, thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely have to have you back on again, especially if you keep in touch. If you keep up with how you pronounce Shattenkirk's name, Shatternick. If you keep up with Shatternick and the Rangers and like how they're doing
at
the Garden, we'll have you back on for Hockey Talks again for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. And let's also hook up on Offended soon.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Coming into Survivor Series and Evolution and Crown Jewel and Saudi Arabia and what they want to fucking offer that prick.
I'll donate.
I'll give him some money.
Fuck you, Jim. Okay.
But yeah, man, we'll get you back on here soon.
Definitely. Thanks, man. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
See you, bud.
Take care.
Later. Bye.
Hey, Jim.
What's up, Trey?
Does PWP Nation have a new show out?
Oh, I think they do.
I think they do, too. For all you wrestling fans out there, there's a brand new show by PWP Nation called Unpopular, and it's hosted by JCD, who you just heard, motherfucker.
The Blanca from Yonkers.
With Toph from PWP Nation. And they have some unpopular topics and opinions.
Some you might not like.
You might not like it, but they present a very good point when they're talking about this stuff.
Do.
Last week on their first episode, they talked about is Braun Strowman the new Ryback? Maybe. And now on this week's episode, they talk about is what has happened since All In.
Yeah.
What's happened since All In? Remember that indie show? You fucking wrestling fans, remember that indie show with from Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, All In from the Bullet Club show? Remember that show? JC wants to know what?
Big show.
So what?
They had an all-in show. So what? What's next? What do you got for me, Cody?
I was there. It was great. Yeah. But go ahead. Go listen to Unpopular by PWP Nation. New podcast by PWP Nation. Make sure to follow PWP Nation at PWP Nation on all social media platforms to find it, and it's on Blogspot Radio. Is that what
I believe so.
Okay, so that's cool. Go listen to it right now.
Check it out.
Check it out. Are you tired? Are you tired? A little tired? Welcome back to Hockey Talks, presented by PWP Nation. Real quick, thank you to JCD coming on the show.
Yep.
Giving us a little insight. It's nice to get like that little insight, you know.
You know, we're Hockey Talks. We're predominantly Blues, but we love all hockey.
We do.
We love history. We love the history.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love getting the opinions of other guys, other teams. So
we especially like JCD a little more now that he's openly admitted that he does not like Shattenkirk.
yeah. Oh, Shattenkirk is what he called him.
Shatternick is what he called him.
Shatternick.
And it's like
Shattered dick. Fucking.
but it's like you know what you call him?
terrible.
You know what you call him? You know what you call him? I don't think he knows. I don't think he
No.
knows. But real quick, guys, we have just a couple more topics to talk about real quick. First of all, bonus topic I just thought of. Jack
Whoa.
Eichel is now the captain of the Buffalo Sabres.
Hell
I
yeah.
think we all saw it coming.
Hell
I think we
yeah.
all saw that.
Yep.
coming.
Well deserved.
Yep.
That
Well
guy
deserved.
deserved it the second he got drafted to Buffalo and chugged a bunch of beer because he knew shit was downhill.
When I
Dressed
saw,
up as a white unicorn.
yeah, when I saw that the other day, I was like, he wasn't already the captain. It was Riley though. I forgot.
Yeah,
about
it was
that.
Riley.
I totally forgot about that.
Good for him. He's matured a lot, I think, as a player the last couple. It's been 2 years now.
He's on a
really?
line with Skinner now.
And
Yeah.
Tage
Got him for-
Thompson.
Skinner, Thompson, and Eichel.
Yep.
Is your line.
And how about
holy fucking
how about
shit.
fucking Tyratti up in Edmonton tearing it up with McDavid right now?
I predicted
that's just how
75
70,
points.
70 points.
That's just how good McDavid is. though.
Logical. Yeah. Oh,
and that's the one thing that
every bit about
scares
it.
me. That's the
Edmonton
thing-
will still be shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing that scares me about Pat Maroon. It's like, was he good or was he just good because he was playing with McDavid?
Pat goes
He
to the front
did
of the
good
net.
in New Jersey, though.
He did.
He did well there. Not as good, but he
But
did well.
he was on line with Taylor Hall.
Right. Well, now he's on a line with Tarasenko.
Exactly.
And O'Reilly,
So this
we'll
is what
see.
he does.
So we'll see.
see.
He'll go to the front of the net. He'll be in your face.
Another topic. Seattle is one vote away from becoming the NHL's new expansion team. I think Seattle should have gotten it before Vegas, in my opinion.
See, I don't think so.
Really?
I think Vegas getting it and how they got it and whatever they went through, I feel like it was perfect. I personally do not think that Seattle's team will be nearly as good.
Oh, they will be. Because
They have the
The
peak
way-
of the crop,
The way the draft works, the way the
which is
talent is these
bullshit.
days.
If I was GMs anywhere else, I'm pissed.
yeah, Vegas
Pissed.
is exempt from the expansion draft, and like they don't have to protect anybody.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
I'm
yeah,
pissed.
but it'll be good for the league. I mean,
I don't think it will be. I think
Seattle's
Seattle
a
should
great
have a
Seattle's a great sports town, man.
Give a
It's gonna be
basketball
good.
team first.
Oh, we saw how that went on. Raw.
yeah.
We all
I don't
saw
know.
how-
I'm not happy. I don't know. I'm not too happy about it just because, as a Blues fan standpoint,
the Seattle Whalers.
we are fucked.
Why?
The Blues might have to give up.
Yeah, Steen. See ya. Bye.
Yeah.
No, they're going to have their pick of Edmondson and or Parenko / of course, Steen's going to be on that list because
I'm okay with it.
you're not okay with that.
Who
Forgetting
it'll be
would
fine.
you rather lose? Joel Edmondson, Parayko, or Tarasenko, Jordan Kyrou, and Robert Thomas?
Oh shit.
Exactly.
Parayko.
I'm okay with it. Exactly. I'm okay with it.
It'll be fine because salary all comes into play. Certain contracts, certain time in the.
I mean, if I have to take a guess,
did we take
see you
that?
later,
We didn't take
Steen,
that big of
but
a loss when Vegas got the team.
No, not at all. We lost
I'm
Perron.
all for it.
I feel like we got lucky,
I don't know. There's
And-
so much talent out
but
there.
they had
dude.
more. The Blues had more on the reserve list that they didn't have to protect. But for this Seattle, I feel like we're going to have more open. We're going to have to protect certain other people.
I don't think it's going to be that hard. I really don't.
Yeah.
I haven't quite looked at our roster and the years and the terms and all that stuff, so I don't quite know.
The draft isn't set up to, like, fuck teams, though. It can happen, but I don't think it, like, what team really got fucked with Vegas?
Pittsburgh. Leaving up Marc-Andre Fleury, which I don't think Murray...
Yeah, but Pittsburgh still has such a good fucking team.
But Fleury was going to get traded no matter what.
Yeah.
They had...
Fleury was definitely getting traded. Like, that was well known in Pittsburgh. Fleury was gone no matter what.
Yeah, he was getting traded and letting him walk is two different things, man.
They didn't really, like, let him walk, though.
He walked for nothing.
I mean, I think it's a little different when it's an expansion draft. Who knows?
Yeah.
If they
You're right, who knows?
But is Pittsburgh that smart to be like, we don't have to worry about making a trade because we can just let him go in the expansion draft and protect everybody else is protected.
Yeah.
Like they knew full
possibly
well.
retain salary.
But they didn't have much of anybody else.
They had players.
Not that they...
Who would you rather have protected? Getzel or Marc-Andre Fleury when you had Matt Murray in between the pipes? Who was
How good is Getzel when he's playing on a line in a PP with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin? You guys raised a question about Pat. There's your same goddamn
Which
player.
one has a Stanley Cup? And which one
Are you kidding me? He has a cup. Well, he was actually a stud in the Stanley Cup final. But he still played alongside of Malkin and Crosby.
Either way, like, who would you rather have? The guy who's getting points or just the backup goalie for your team?
But Fleury is not a backup goalie.
Never. Yeah, he wasn't. But in Pittsburgh, he was.
But Murray was hurt and out of it, and you saw what he did last year. Not much.
No, not much. But Fleury was always going. Fleury was done.
Yes, but you could have gotten Fleury for more, opposed to letting him walk. And I have nothing against Getzel. The dude's a hell of a gamer.
Okay,
but I don't think that maybe he could fall into the category that not as good as people think he is because he's been lining up on the power play with Malkin and Crosby.
Well, with that take, if Fleury was gone, who leaves Pittsburgh then?
Chris Letang, which I think should have been gone a while ago, or Phil Kessel, maybe, who could be on his way out next year for free. Nothing.
You don't see, I think Kessel's worth is worth way more than Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, but is the money that worth it? When he's coming into his tail end of the contract, he's 33.
But there's still teams out there that would take Phil Kessel and give you something good in return over Marc-Andre Fleury.
And how many teams you have seen the market for goalies coming off of this?
But
you could get the Blues. What did the Blues spend for Miller? What did the Blues spend for Ryan Miller?
Who was it? It was
a first round, a second round, and
well, there was picks involved.
Exactly, but
I meant there was players involved.
Yeah, and picks.
Chris Stewart and who else? Who's the other one? It was Stewart and somebody else. Drawing a blank. Obviously, it didn't make that much of a difference because we. It did
because they drafted Eichel with one of those picks.
No.
Eichel.
They didn't get a.
Who did they draft?
Eichel was first overall. Blues did not have the first overall pick.
Goalies can go for draft picks that you don't know what could obtain from those.
Okay, but before the Marc-Andre Fleury fiasco, Marc-Andre Fleury revitalized his career in the playoffs. The season that they basically had their minds made up. Fleury knew he was leaving Pittsburgh in February of that year, before there was any consideration of anything. Because the previous year before that, Fleury was so bad, that's when Matt Murray came in and overtook his spot. Fleury hadn't been good for 2 years before that, and Fleury has now come back.
Fleury was hurt when Murray took over.
Yeah, but he was also still doing bad at the same time.
But he's also a three-time Stanley Cup winner. I mean, I just don't feel like... I feel like you could get more for Marc-Andre Fleury than what you're letting on to be.
Is he a 3-time Stanley Cup winner, or is he a 1-time Stanley Cup winner?
No, 3-time. He carried that fucking team 2 of those rings. Marc-Andre Fleury is a goddamn gamer. If it wasn't for Marc-Andre Fleury, Vegas would not have been where they were.
I agree with that. But at the same time, he revitalized his career with that playoff push. But the season before that, Matt Murray was the one that took Pittsburgh to the Cup.
Matt Murray had a good run and a great run. And yes, I do agree with that. But he got that run off of a Marc-Andre Fleury injury. He didn't beat Fleury out. Fleury was injured. And then he got it, and then he rode with it. So I'm not taking anything away from Murray because he got that start.
I agree.
Because of an injury, and he rode it, and he was a stud.
But I think
100% a stud at 22.
I still think at the time you're not going to protect two goalies over player.
But that is what, yes, and I agree.
And who's older, who's younger? Which
exactly.
one are you protecting?
No, I would have done the exact same thing, but that just goes back to the expansion draft. I feel like coming into the Seattle draft, and what is it? It's leading up to be 2020, 2021,
something like that.
Something like that.
They're hoping it's next year.
If it's next season, it will help the Blues out more than 2020 or 2021. If it comes to 2020 and 2021, the three rookies that you're seeing playing right now will not be under rookie contracts, and they will have to be protected and not automatically protected. If it happens in those years, the Blues are going to get hit a lot harder, and they're going to have to figure out a lot more than what you think.
The NHL might end up having different fucking draft rules or something.
But the Blues were prepared. If you heard Armstrong talk in 2015, 2016, everybody in the league was prepared for this expansion draft that Vegas had. Everybody in the league was well known about this. The Seattle throws a whole goddamn different wrench, and it just throws a different mix.
There's no way the owners and stuff had at least a somewhat idea about it though.
Not the Seattle one. The Vegas one, I feel like they all did. This Seattle one, I feel like it popped. I don't think they did.
There's no way that I don't know. Batman's a fuck, but
exactly.
They have to let teams know.
I feel like they can only let teams know as much as they know, and I feel like the Seattle and the way that Seattle set it up,
it's coming up a lot quicker than they probably.
I feel like they didn't think that Seattle or any other city, mind you, minus Vegas, was going to figure it out as fast as they did, and Seattle got their shit together, and that's props to fucking Seattle. They know what they want, and they're going for it, and very clearly it's working. So good for them, but I don't think that the NHL and the NHL GMs and owners knew
that's possible
what was coming up. I feel like they were all prepared, and you can see by contracts. Right now, the 3 to 5 year contracts are pretty much handed out like gravy. But a lot of those 3 to 5 year contracts are going to be up in 2020 and 21. And a lot of those contracts are going to be rookies that you're seeing being drafted this year / last year that are coming up on rookie deals, and they're going to have to protect those guys and other people to make their team, and they didn't see it coming. And the contracts speak for themselves for all of the NHL.
Yeah, true.
So that's my take. I feel like it's going to hit the NHL a little harder than what most GMs were aware of to start hearing about Seattle.
Last thing before we get in our 1, 2, 3 finish. By the way, have you looked at our fantasy hockey? The way this year's scored is so weird.
Is it?
You're winning 20.50 to 6.
I am?
Yeah.
I have a goalie going tonight.
But
I have Pettersson. So, hey, how you doing, Pettersson?
But what's dumb is going to be the scores are going to be 80 to 70.
It's going to be more than that. I think it's going to be the hundreds.
That's dumb.
We have a whole week, right?
Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb. I don't like Yahoo Fantasy Hockey changed a bunch of
thought
shit
we were going to do straight up. Yeah, I saw that scoring setup, and I was weirded out about it.
No, but
I am.
It should just be 1 point, a category. You should just win the category, you get that. It shouldn't be points like this.
I knew that was going to happen once I start seeing those zero.
I mean,
yeah.
Either way, you take the percentage. It's basing it off a percentage. It's the same way as if you would win a category. I mean, either way. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just it looks different. It looks like it's a lot. It's actually scored the exact same way. However, Jim, I wanted your opinion on this.
What's up?
So Dan and I are playing each other in fantasy hockey this week.
Okay.
Which one of us has the better team? As our last topic, which one of us has the better team? We're going to go down one by one and just say our players.
Okay.
Start from center, straight up.
No.
You're going to go center?
No, just read your team.
Just go down.
All right, go ahead and start it up.
I have Evgeny Malkin, John Tavares, Panarin, Landeskog, Radulov, Pavelski, Subban, Pietrangelo, Muzzin, Couturier, Hellebuyck, Kyle Connor from Winnipeg, a rookie,
yeah.
Duncan
He's gonna be a
Keith,
stud.
Jordan Eberle, David Perron, and Devin Dubnyk.
Okay. Dan?
Jamie Benn, Nazem Kadri,
I already hate it.
Logan Couture, Jeff Skinner, Kucherov, Tarasenko, Dallin.
He has fucking Dallin, by the way, after how much he said he hates the piece
Yeah,
of
by the
shit.
way, that wasn't that bad of a hit. You're just a pussy.
That was a terrible hit.
What's it?
Dallin.
That happens in practice.
Werenski, Barry, Pedersen, how you doing? Shafley, Barzell, Taves, Provorov, Jones, Luongo.
Who is it, Jim? Who has a better team?
That's tough, but
It's me.
Todd's just seems more appealing.
It's me.
Name-wise seems more appealing, but you have a few on yours that could...
I took Duncan Keith as one of my last
know.
picks. Looks like I saw him out
The
there.
bottom part of your list that you named off, there's a few I was like, yours had a good mix. You have some I think that could, like, they'll have good years, and
I have a Calder
they could probably
Trophy winner
surprise
probably
a
already
lot.
locked up.
I think you have a lot more steady, like, players. I think Todd does. That, like, have, I guess, more proven a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I went young. I fucked up on the back end.
His is more proven, but
I fucked
yours
up
is
on the
also
back
good.
end, but that's why I have Dallin, because I went top heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, my first three picks were Ben, Tarasenko, and Kucherov.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Cooch.
Yeah, Kuch is going to be a fucking stud.
Yeah.
And then I have Martin Jones as my number one netminder. You already know he's going to get at least 35 wins.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, my back end, though, terrified. That's why I went Dallin.
You got good players, though, that if you need to make a trade, though.
Exactly.
You got some, yeah.
I have Jeff Skinner on the first line with a Buffalo team who's probably going to score some points.
I think so, too.
Let's go.
Hopefully plus-minus doesn't come into that.
It
You're
does.
like,
Plus minus is a big factor.
But I also
But if
have
Skinner's playing with
Exactly.
Eichel and somebody else, you should be fine.
Exactly.
You hope so.
Dallin's going to be terrible on the back end. Like, no, my defensive plus minus, dog shit. I mean, Provorov, he's playing with Ghost. Might help me out. Tyson Barrie, he's going to get points, but his plus minus is going to be garbage because he's playing number one line minutes. But Tyson Barrie isn't really much of a defensive man. He will just put up power play points. So I'm having the points down, but it's my defensive aspect that is complete dog shit. Let's be honest. My defensive game, horrible. But I'm hoping I can just Yankee it and just power it.
I think Dan's our JCD, by the way.
I think he
power
is,
it.
too. You just need a cooler accent.
I wish I could have one. I'm fucking dog
I'm so
shit.
happy you realized what I was saying by that.
Thank God, I thought I was going to get ripped.
No, not tonight.
Not tonight.
Daddy's
All right.
tired.
He's tired. Daddy's tired.
Let's finish off 1, 2, 3. Finish. Does anybody want to start?
I'll start us off. I'm going to do 3 hockey takes. Well, obviously we do.
obviously,
but
yeah.
Yeah, I was
sometimes
definitely going for the
sometimes I'll throw in if there's something huge like McGregor fight, but fuck it.
We
One
already got rid of that.
one that's kind of a two-putter. Connor McDavid MVP, 120 points this year. Huge hot take.
Pretty big one.
It's a big hot take. 2, Vegas will be a wild card team this year. I don't think I made that in my prediction, but I think I changed my mind. But I'm going to keep with my predictions from a couple weeks ago. And 3, fucking Blues hockey. Blues
1.
hockey tomorrow.
I like them. 1. Arizona Coyotes. 92 points this season. How you doing?
What? Nope. Save it. Don't. I don't want to get into it. It's
2.
it's going too long.
2. Blaze. 65 points. 3, Blues. Got to.
You had it all. It's because you're not going to start this year. He's getting all cocky and being like,
know.
Arizona.
You guys know how pissed you're going to be once I'm right.
In 4 years, yeah, you'll be right.
This year. You guys are going to...
Mariano is going to come back and play with them, and Rafi Torres is going to come back and play with them, too.
And Pronger's going to come play, and fucking Joe Sakic's coming out of retirement.
Yeah, League of Champions, that is. Team of Champions.
Like 96.
Yeah, maybe if like Legend Mode was on in NHL 19. All right, Trick, what's your... give us 3 count.
Number 1, I'm just happy hockey's back. Hockey's fucking back, ladies and gentlemen. Hockey's back. My number 2, thank you, JCD, for coming on the show. Talking Rangers 94 Cup run. That was fun. Thank you for that. And number 3... Tom Wilson's just a piece of human shit. He's just a piece of shit.
He's a 7-star C word. I won't use the C word on Hockey Talk.
He's a 7-star cunt. I'm just going to use it because I'm tired. But he's a douchebag, and that's all I got. But that's hockey's back. Let's go Blues. Let's go Blues.
Yep.
Make sure to go follow Offended on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope at OffendedPod. Make sure to go follow PWP Nation on all those social media platforms as well at PWP Nation. Make sure to go buy our T-shirt. Go buy a T-shirt. You have tank tops, long sleeve shirts, women's shirts. Just go buy it at ProWrestlingTees.com/Offended-Podcast. Make sure to go listen to our podcast, Offended, which is on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, which is new every Friday. Make sure to go check that out. Make sure to go watch our weekly wrestling wrap-up if you're a wrestling fan, or our Periscope show, which is new every week on Thursdays or Wednesdays, depending on what we have going on. Maybe in hockey season it's going to be more Wednesdays and Thursdays, but normally we like to keep it on Thursdays. But it's normally at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Make sure you tune into that if you're a wrestling fan, and go follow our Spotify playlist if you like music at Offended Presents Songs of the Week. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trick1042. You can follow Stoutsy at
J_Stout9 on Twitter, JimmyJames9417 on Instagram.
And you can follow Clodius on Twitter at
DClodius on Twitter.
For Stoutsy Clodius, this has been Hockey Talks. I'm Tricky. This has been Hockey Talks. Presented by Offended, presented by PWP Nation. Boys, hockey is back. Put it in the top shelf!
I think I'm